I've always had this problem since I was a kid. Like I always want to. I'm always so excited to jump into a topic that a lot of times what ends up happening to me is like I never know when to start it because I have so much like fun, interesting facts. Like say it's a show and tell, and I'm just like bursting at the seams. So my transitions, my entry isn't always the best. I'm improving that. But quick story before I give Gov the first 10 minutes because Gov has an interesting topic. You guys might see it on screen here to give you a little precursor. To give you a quick story. So I'm like, I gotta get better at my intros. They're terrible. You know, we're amateur, but we're trying to get better. Today I'm watching the John Daigle show, and it's a show he just released. He's been in the industry for 20 years, has a beautiful website, interesting guy, tons of great content, 4 for 4, has a full group, edited all the rest of it. For the first 15 minutes of the show, he went live, but he was on mute. And he's been doing it for 20 years. So sometimes, like the relatability, even if you started the show 5 minutes in, 5 hours in, or 5 years in, you're going to have some of these mess ups. I do think this is a good transition, though. And go talk about unveiling entry points and new beginnings. We have seen the Rainmakers drop of the NFL content. How did that go today? I know you have a big topic for the people, and I think you have great insight. So I'm gonna let you take it away.
Well, I wouldn't know about great insight. Like I said, I was at work, so I didn't get to take part in what was supposed to be for the field pass holders. You got a special drop of the packs opening, and then at 6:00 today, the public access to the packs. So there were 3 packs available. The core pack, where they were dropping 54,000, which was down from last year, but they had cut a lot of the packs to try to make sure they sold out of their stock. So they dropped 54,000 of those at the $20 price. Then they have like a $400 pack and a $3,000 pack for the higher end players. And those focus on the elite, legendary, and Rainmaker tiers, whereas the core packs focus more on the core and rare tier. So at 6:00 today, it became public access, where anyone could go and start buying packs because they're going to have preseason contests available on Thursday for you to play your packs in. Well, unfortunately, and I'm still trying to get all the full details on this, exactly how long it took, but basically they didn't put a limit this year because they cut the packs down from I think they had 80-something thousand last year. Mm-hmm. And now they only had 54,000. So they got rid of a bunch of crap players that were like the second or third string running backs on teams that they made cards for, and that guys who ended up retired before the start of the season kind of guys. So they got rid of a bunch of those to make the packs worth more. Like you're going to get better players. So the $20 for the pack that was last year, it's worth more. And there's less of them. So the serial numbers are better and mean more in the contests, which is the whole point of those contests. So yes, everything about that makes sense. But then they also lifted the restrictions on buying. And it looks like they sold out of all 54,000 packs really quickly. Like I have people complaining 5-10 minutes after that they can't get on to get a pack.
So, Donnie, you weren't around last year. This is a newer concept to you. And people are familiar with the show, so I don't think we need to do a full introduction, but you are with us, Donnie. Now, what I want to know from you is, do you think this was a mistake of how they rolled it out in comparison to the idea of how they did it last year? Or just I almost want that novice kind of okay, I don't know anything about this, but I understand sports, I understand marketing. This is a futuristic business I'm interested in. What are you kind of thinking?
Here's the thing. Mm-hmm. With DraftKings specifically, and I'm going to correlate it to something me and you both experienced a couple of years ago now.
Please do.
With DraftKings, it's a mistake.
To be fair, they know it screws over the people trying to play. But if everyone buys the packs on the secondary market, then DraftKings got all their $20 for the 54,000 packs, and now they're going to make an extra 10% when they sell on the secondary market.
I think they'd rather people be more interested in playing than dealing with the situation.
Yeah.
But it's similar to, like, in a way, similar to when the new consoles came out and it was almost impossible to get them. That's not a mistake. That's just, they were taking advantage of stuff, and some sites had the things to block this, others didn't. Most did at some point after a while. They just didn't have the supply. The supply is here with DraftKings. It's not, it's high demand, but it's not super high demand. People are just getting introduced to it. The amount, and if you've had the restrictions before, it was a possibility. Why would you do it? Because it was only going to grow in popularity.
Maybe this will make it grow in popularity, but just in a different way, Donnie. That's kind of what I view it as. I don't view it as a mistake or a victory, or even think about it this way: like, is it a negative loop or is it a positive lap of a victory lap? I don't think it's either one. Here's the thing, though: the reaction is going to determine whether it is successful or not, because they made a choice, and now that reaction is going to set the market, what they do next. So if they flood the market, that's going to impact players.
That would personally be what I do.
Right. But
maybe it's the wrong decision. That's what I personally would be for. I would be for flooding the market.
Now, if they did that, it's going to have some positive influence. To your point, Donnie, that might be the right move. But you got to understand, once you release the floodgates, to this analogy, you can't then reverse it. Like right now, they are able to go forwards and backwards with this one decision. They have full control of the vehicle. They have a direction. The thing is whatever their direction is, whatever their goal is with this Rainmakers, and it's like, and we'll bring Gov back in here. A couple, what was it, like mid-season last year? People were complaining about DraftKings salaries and saying like, "Oh, this position is, overpriced." I think it was running backs. Like they had the elite running back for so highly priced that like it was almost influencing the way you built lineups. But I'm like, as long as everyone has to follow the same pay structure, the same 50,000, pay structure of the game, then of course the rules are going to change, or the chess pieces essentially are going to change. But if everyone has to follow the same rules, right, it's fair. And so, no, go ahead. Trust me. That's what I want. Yeah. I want this.
My thing. The reason why I'm for flooding the market is they're trying to get new players in anyway. This would personally turn me off from playing this year. Not that I'm allowed to, but it would turn me off from playing the Rainmakers at all this year.
And there's also the fact that like they have a promo: buy 3 packs, get a free pack.
That makes it 10 times worse.
So now people weren't even able to do that, and buying them on the secondary market doesn't count for that. So.
Well, let me bring a little levity.
Or I just say, everyone on DraftKings, here's, 3 free packs or whatever. Everyone that had played last year or something.
The problem is they put them all on the market. So like they would have to just like totally scrap what they're doing. Yeah. Like that's the thing. They've really put themselves in a pickle because they can't just take back the packs because some of them have been opened.
Right.
So it's not like, well, we're just going to take them out of everyone's portfolio. Well, what about all the ones that were opened? Are you just going to reclose those and randomize them again? Like, what are you going to do? Are you just going to let people keep those? Then there's a mad rush for the people with like 10,000 to open all of them, so they can't just have that stuff taken back from DraftKings. Because it's not realistic the way they're trying to.
But I don't think. I don't think it's fair to take them back. I think that's the worst possible decision you can make.
It sucks that a bunch of bots bought up like all the packs.
Yeah. Well,
yes, it sucks, but you can't. It's your fault. You put yourself in this situation. You can't just say, "Okay, I'm going to take it back." Right. That's like me going up to DraftKings after I make $100 bet on the Super Bowl, losing, and say, "Oh well, I changed my mind."
Honestly, that precedent might be why we have some of this issue, because they started refunding people for absurdities like that. like maybe not that absurd, but truly like there was people that would bet on, let's say Luka Doncic first basket for the Dallas Mavericks, right? There was a game I think last year where he sprained his ankle or rolled his ankle, let's just say, and precautionary, I believe the coach rested him for the entire game. So he literally played 30 seconds. By rule, that game tipped off. He was in the starting lineup. DK had all the rights to take that first,
They had all the right, and they should have, in my opinion.
But they refunded
And it was actually that was actually like their special. It was like add this as a prop, and it was just Luka over under half.
That's different. That's different.
It was basically like Luka to score at least 1 point in this game, and then that happens.
What I'm saying, no, I know it's different, Donnie, and I'm saying like we have to embrace the difference, but at the same point, like when somebody shows you goodwill, that doesn't mean that you always expect goodwill. Like when someone, like if I went to the bad part of the town and I got robbed, it's not everyone in that town is responsible for the theft. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can't have this knee-jerk reaction, even though it is going to turn people off. Like I'm sure there was.
It would 100% turn me off of it.
Right. And that's the sad part is because once you turn off, you might not click back.
No, I try it the next year because I'd expect them to fix it. But for this specific season, I would be shut down from it.
Well, that's a long time. That's what I'm saying. If now you have to wait a whole other year to introduce somebody else into the marketplace, that's what they don't want.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people who think like me and would do that. You know.
And Gov, we don't usually do this where we have like a big pre-show meeting, but we did talk about how they probably should have limited core, and you brought that up specifically. So I do think that would have been a good solution to Donnie's problem. If you could speak on that, that'd be great. Because I do think you had a great idea, and I don't want to totally steal it. But when you were talking about limiting just the core, at least, would definitely help the entry point.
Sorry, I am reading all the Discord and trying to get all the info. From
so if you don't mind, I'll just piggyback off your point. You basically said, hey, if they don't limit any other tier and they just limited the entry level tier, which is called core, and they limited it to 20 packs or 25, then at least the entry level, I'm using entry too much, but the beginner player like Donnie would have at least got a pack. He would have at least got the experience. Because part of getting a pack is like opening it and like having that virtual card feeling of this could be a Josh Allen or it could be
most of us in our lives have, we grew up Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh, like we've all done it, most of us anyway.
Right.
There's a adrenaline that's always going to be there for that.
Well, like, for example, I hang out with my nephew a lot on my days off on Tuesday today. So, like, there's a difference between me buying him a pack of gum and letting him pick a gumball out of a machine. Like, it might seem silly to us, but he doesn't know if he's going to get a red gumball, a blue one,
I see it all the time where I work. Like that.
Right. The better value might be the extra gum, the spearmint, what have you. Then you know what you're getting. But there is some like reveal feature to having the pack.
It's all psychological. I mean,
right. But not getting that experience, But I also got to say, if you do have $50,000 in your account and you do want to gamify the system, which you are kind of doing a stock market portfolio, there is something to be said if you believe in the stocks and you want to buy in early in the market and then resell. That's part of the game. We talked about this.
I'm not mad at anybody for doing that. In DraftKings, I'm not mad at anyone for doing that. That's smart.
I want to be clear because I think we all three agree. We're not hating the player here. We're saying that DraftKings now doesn't have the right to say, hey, woe is me, because it's like you gave the people the rules, they followed the rules, and if you wanted it done different, you should have set the parameters differently. That's where I'm at. I don't blame anyone for this.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I am perfectly willing to buy one right here.
Open it live.
Oh look! Someone listed one for $22.50. That's Boom.
Open it live.
Yep. Let's see what we get. I actually have one dropped, so I have 2 now.
Okay, but before you do that, Gov, tell the people, because like this is a good in-game live experience, why you think it was smart to buy one now. Like, even with, because I do think there is some advantages still. Like,
I think the smart, like I said, like I think to make money on it, they have to sell for at least $22.20.
Yeah.
So $22.50 is basically going to be the lowest price you'll ever see it on the marketplace. So that means it's the cheap, except for when it was $20 3 or 4 hours ago.
Right.
That's the cheapest it's going to be.
Which let's say this for a second. If you're gonna spend $20 on it, is it really gonna hurt you to spend $23 on it?
It depends. Like, and again, if I get the right card, I can sell it back. And like as you see, I had one dropped in because of my field pass, along with the one I just bought here. So we're gonna open the one we just bought. You ready?
Yep.
As you can see, they dropped 7,500 field pass ones. There were 54,035. They sold out in like 15 minutes because a bot bought like 15K. Like DK Jets bot or whatever. DK Jets. A guy on DraftKings, username DK Jets. He had like a bot that like bought a bunch or something. But
you tell me when you want to open it. It's your pack, and we'll do it.
I'm getting it ready right now.
All right, let's do it. What do you want, Gov? What would be good?
Yeah. What's your dream item?
Burrow stack. Burrow stack. Like Burrow's the superstar, so Burrow with any one of his pass catchers.
What disappointment?
I'd even take a Burrow Irv Smith.
Oh, a Burrow Irv Smith would be beautiful.
Like anything. Like give me a Burrow stack. That's ideal.
Gov, I want you to be biased when you say this thing too, even if you want to. Well,
I had to think about it. I'm like, what do I ideally want? Remembering from Rainmakers, I want a good team stack that I can always have every week. And my favorite one this year from our picks, as you know, would be Cincinnati.
What would be disappointing? Like, say you only have $20. Like, you saved up for
if
this.
I get in here and I get, like, my skill starters like DJ Moore and I get a Mac Jones and a bunch of other crap, that's going to be a bad pack.
Okay.
All right.
All right. You got any ritual?
Johnny, enjoy this experience.
Listen, I played Ultimate Team. I had pack opening rituals.
Oh, we got a rare. Oh,
yeah,
oh shit. We already got one that could be worth like $50+ if it's a good guy. Oh, snap. Quick.
I know, buddy, I know.
Ooh. Okay, we're gonna slow roll this. Okay.
I agree.
Okay. We got an Eli Mitchell.
So Gov goes with a slow roll. Do you have any superstitions, Gov? That was what Donnie was getting at.
Okay, if I remember from the packs last year, the worse the guys are early, the better they are late. So let's not hit let's not hit something halfway decent. Like I like starting with an Eli Mitchell.
Okay.
Into a Devin
there you go.
Okay, into a Devin Singletary.
That's a good, bad guy, too.
Right? Okay, and I have 2 running backs that are at least playable. Those are, at worst, the number 2 running backs. That's the number 2 for Houston and the number 2 for San Francisco.
And I will say, there's a chance Singletary takes over that job. Like, there's a chance
I agree.
He got hurt.
Who?
This has got to be a defensive player.
No, it's a quarterback.
It's a rookie quarterback.
Who?
Sean Clifford.
He played at Penn State, I do believe.
Who does he play for?
He's on Green Bay. He's behind Jordan Love.
Yeah, correct. I believe
okay.
He played at Penn State.
This is looking like a Mahomes rare, some shit like that. Oh my God.
But let me just say this, Gov. Who knew who brought
we're halfway through. Okay, evaluate. We're halfway through the pack.
Okay.
How much of the $20 do you think I actually got back?
You got a lot back because you got a quarterback. And let me be honest.
But an unplayable quarterback.
No. Don't do that to yourself.
Preseason.
Yeah.
During this preseason time, yes, playable. He will be on the field because Jordan Love probably won't be the entire game.
100%. But who knew who Brock Purdy was before at this point last year?
Yeah,
Like,
Jordan Love could suck or get hurt or both.
you never know, and this is a position where you're not dealing with Mahomes. Like,
Yep.
it's Jordan Love.
Okay. Last three. Dalton Kincaid.
There you
Okay.
go.
That's a
Hey.
solid tight end. That's pretty good. I don't hate that. We can deal with that.
Gov, I have a legit question. Do these cards carry over? Because last year they didn't, but now I heard there was a rumor that if you open one of these packs, there was a chance that the cards were going to start having legacy value.
I think it says 2023, so no.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't believe I've heard anything
I
about
still like that player in Kincaid, but if they had some carryover next year, I really like it. Now, Gov, is there anything we can do? Rabbit's foot? Is there anything you want me and Donnie to do? Cross our fingers, dot our T's?
No, like.
Okay, just rip the bandit off in.
Okay, this better be a good one.
Okay, this could be a pretty solid rare.
Hold on.
This could be a pretty solid rare.
Donnie, give me the position it is. I'm going to say wide receiver.
I was thinking wide receiver too. I'm thinking something wild, like at least a Debo.
I'm going to say it's a wide receiver from a bad team. It's not going to look like a good player today, but it's going to look like a good player come week one.
Quarterback.
It's going to be like a bad team that no one sees coming like the Browns, but he'll actually be a good player.
Ray or Mac Jones.
But Gov's going to cry day one.
Quarterback. I'm going to punch you in my computer. Please be a quarterback. Don't be Mac Jones.
Gov, if this is... Oh, I like
he's
that.
He's supposed to be getting a lot of run this year.
I like that.
He is the number again. We get another number 2 running back for a team.
The rumor is he's going to get a big run this year.
He's supposed to because Jacobs is probably supposed to break down.
I heard something.
And he's also like now if Jacobs is sitting out of camp. So if Jacobs just does right, he's just like I'm not even coming to camp. So if he just ends up not playing. Yeah, then Zamir White becomes amazing.
Lackluster pack.
I'm gonna prove something right now. You ready?
But I have the other pack too, though.
This was in my breakdown. And you know what this means? It means I had some trade possibilities. What I wanted to talk about, mainly the fact that Saints signed Hunt, but
no, actually, that didn't go through. He's not there anymore. Nope.
Okay, but he's
meeting with the Colts.
Yeah, I was about to say he's meeting with the Colts.
That's another good possibility. But there's possibilities out there. And one of the possibilities I had read today, Gov, was that the Raiders would consider trading Jacobs because of his holdout. If that happens with that White pick, fantastic.
Yeah, that could be good. All right, now let's see what the field pass. It's dropping me 1 card. Not a 6-card pack. 1 card.
Here's where you get your quarterback of. You just had to wait.
No, he got one. I'm telling you, Sam Clifford's not a bad quarterback.
Yeah, but once I get to the start of the season, he will not be playable.
You don't think so? But Brock Purdy wouldn't be playable either at this point.
Okay, but so you're guaranteeing me Jordan Love gets injured preseason.
I'm not making any guarantees. I'm saying there's a chance.
Well, then that's why I'm telling you. I can't guarantee that dude who's the second-string quarterback is actually going to play week 1.
100%.
Is he the second string?
If anything, I can say I probably am getting nothing out of that guy.
All I'm saying is you didn't get Chad Henne. You didn't get somebody that.
Yes, I did. Chad Henne would be like the backup who was not going to play. That's what I got. I got a quarterback that will not be useful in lineups come the start of the season. I have the 3 preseason plays to play him. That's it.
We'll see. This is me.
Barring something horrible happening to someone.
Here's Josh Allen.
I do not have a quarterback.
Here's Josh Allen. Oh!
Ooh!
I do have a player, though. I do have one good player in this set. Now it's like last year. It's like last year I got a Kelsey early out of a free pack, and it's like now I have to buy a Mahomes.
Do you guys remember the Travis Kelce story too? Because remember he got his ankle rolled up on, and we had Travis Kelce in that showdown, Chad Henne came into that game, by the way, and threw a touchdown to Travis Kelce. So maybe it was that Chad Henne conversation that got you Travis Kelce. Who knows, Gov? That was good juju, though.
Not
I
bad.
like it. Yeah.
Like a couple of tight ends, a couple of running backs, Curtis Samuel. Like, again, I need to grab a quarterback before week 1, but to be and I probably need to grab a starting running back unless something happens with Jacobs.
Let's be honest, Gov.
Or Pierce. Something could happen with Pierce and Singletary gets more run.
I wasn't kidding.
I mean, to be fair, something could happen to McCaffrey. Like Mitchell right now would be the guy I would start week 1 because I think McCaffrey and him are going to have a 60-40 split in the Shanahan offense in San Francisco.
And White will ramp up further on.
Right. He could White like with the cards I have now. I have those 7 cards to build
and
my.
Honestly,
5.
Singletary probably starts at the start of the year.
No, Damon Pierce starts. He's solidified.
Is he healthy? Healthy?
He's fine. Like he's in camp, no problem.
Yeah, Pierce.
From what I hear, there's no reason for him not to start. Singletary.
I thought he got hurt last year. I must be confusing him with other.
No, they just shut him down because they sucked and he's a rookie, and you don't try to save him.
Okay.
Like you want to save him for all 4 years of his rookie deal. He showed out as a really good rookie in camp and played really well all year, and then they shut him down like week 14, 15 when Houston sucked.
Okay. Well, Logan, do you want to segue into what we planned on doing initially?
Yep. I was about to say that's so I had to ask Logan this because I remember seeing it all over ESPN. Does DraftKings still sponsor ESPN?
I looked into it, and from what I can tell, they have a deal up until some point of the NFL season. That's all I know. I don't know if that means week 1. I don't know if that means the end of preseason. I don't know if that means.
Oh, I think we know when-ish because if they're going to open their own sports book,
you would assume
that's a competition against DraftKings.
Are you guys excited for an ESPN sportsbook?
I can't use the sportsbook on DraftKings in Florida, so no.
Okay. Logan, do you have any opinion on it?
I wish I could.
That's how I feel about anything DraftKings, okay?
It's good for a couple reasons, in my opinion. I think Gov would even agree with this, even not being able to play himself, is what it allows the marketplace to do is have competition. And let's just assume that you don't want to play at a mainstream book for some reason, even though I think if you're a good gambler, you're going to shop around. You're going to take the best price. If you want, let's say, LSU to beat Clemson on a Saturday afternoon, you're going to take your best odds. I do think that's the way to make money.
Right.
But even having a book that has mainstream value, like ESPN, it's good for your pinnacles, your more Canadian books. It's good for your DraftKings. That's also a familiar book. It's good for FanDuel or even the more sketchy books like, Bet365 or some of these even offshore books. It's the exposure because it puts another player in the marketplace. And what happens a lot of times with these gambling sites, Donnie, is they'll offer a lot of promotions to begin out. So it's like, Luke, we talked about it, I think, before the show, maybe even during the show, where it was Luka to score 1 point, for the entire game. And so anytime you can get these promotions, or like Patrick Mahomes to throw 1 touchdown in a game, at plus 100 to get people interested, to get people engaged. So anytime there's a new book in the market, you're going to get things like that. So I think it's good.
Are you allowed to use the sports book where you are, Logan? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when this comes out, we assume they're going to try and get as many people to go. Are you going to look at it, see if you find good odds on things?
I will, because of the legacy of ESPN, because I know they're not going to go bankrupt. Like,
right.
A lot of websites, when they first start out, even if you want to believe in them, right? Like, let's just say there's a website, it comes out, and Donnie's like, hey, my friend said good things about this. even my aunt, who's a more casual sports fan, thinks, this is cool. But if they don't have the backing, if you don't know where the money's coming from, if you don't believe in them financially, they might even have the best intentions, but if you don't think they have the capital to support a venture, you're going to be nervous about putting.
Oh, well,
10,000,
I'm only saying that because we know we can trust that ESPN's going to be able to pay
right.
that.
But there's a big part of that's why this is so exciting, is because
Right.
they have the financial backing. I'm very excited because Gov knows this as well, because you're a DraftKings guy, Gov. It's like a lot of gambling YouTube personalities, whether they be, people giving you fantasy football advice or like the lesser known people, I feel like are very, very smart, very strategic analysis of the game, whether it be promoting, projections, whether it be ETR or Pat Mayo or some of these other influences that Donnie probably doesn't have exposure to. I do think like Pat McAfee being able to bring one of these personalities onto his show and being like, hey, Pat Mayo gambles on golf every week. You guys should check him out. Donnie's probably never heard of Pat Mayo, but he has great content, and now ESPN getting in and using their platform to promote some of these smarter people who've built a really good infrastructure online around gambling, around DraftKings, I think is only going to help the sport. It's going to help the sports books. I think it's a good move.
I feel like in the past 3 months or so, ESPN has been so focused on playing catch up. But this is like, they're not rushing anything with this. It doesn't feel out of order. This is like the perfect time for them to get in on it. And maybe it is late. I think Fox has their own sports book. Maybe I'm wrong.
They do, but it's terrible.
Right. This is the perfect time because they know how to make it work. We all know they paid attention to DraftKings. They paid attention, underdog, whatever.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this is not me like glad handing ESPN, because I think they made plenty of bad mistakes. Like getting rid of Jeff Van Gundy was a bad mistake. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, this doesn't feel like catch up to me. This feels like the perfect time.
Yep. Well, Fox Sports didn't work because I think they appeal to a different audience. Like they actually Skip Bayless' show, I believe, Undisputed, actually beats out First Take because their audience skews younger. Like their audience still likes that debate type show and that nonsense. But ESPN has kind of went for a more mature version of that, like hiring Pat.
You know what Fox reminds me of? Legitimately,
right?
It's like when you go to a carnival, and there's that guy at the water tank, and he's trying to egg you on to throw a ball.
Exactly, but they've embraced.
That's what it feels like. With their sports book, come steal Terry's money.
Yeah, well, I was just going to bring that up. They've embraced that. They have a lot of their promotions are like, hey, take our money. You can have Terry's money. You can, they had a draft. They had some kind of draft promo like a year ago that had something to do with Jimmy Johnson because he used to draft for the Cowboys. Like they buy into these gimmicky promotions where I think ESPN,
which is fine. There is a market for it.
Right. Well, ESPN is going for more more mature Gen Z culture. They're going for more the adult version, the aging version of you, Donnie. They want to skew younger, but they want to get that mature coming of age younger. And so that's why they're getting into gambling. Gov, is there any downsides, anything you want to add to this? Because I do think there's some negatives.
See, I'm sitting here in a state that I'm still waiting on them to make it legal in my state. And I don't know if ESPN adding it to their stuff honestly gives it enough of a presence to like move anything. It might, and maybe like laws will start to change, but like I don't know. I really don't. And like there's like the ESPN and Disney are kind of in, and Disney's major spot is in Florida and California where you can't do sports betting.
Mm-hmm.
So What's going to happen when I go to the ESPN zone in Orlando and I can't bet, even though ESPN has a fucking sports book?
So, just to clarify, ESPN, this is a $2 billion deal with Penn Entertainment. I don't know if you guys know anything about that. Whatever. It somehow involves Barstool Sports. I'm not quite sure. I'm not going to read into it because I don't care enough to. But there's that. I think it's a good move. No matter how, even if it flops, it's the right move.
Here's the thing. I play primarily on DraftKings, okay? I play some on FanDuel. I play a little bit on Yahoo. I'm very excited that Underdog still exists, even though I don't usually play in there. I'm very excited that Jock Market exists, even though I don't really play in there. I'm even very excited that some people, I should say, exclusively play on FanDuel and never play in DraftKings as a DraftKings player, because I do believe in competition in the marketplace and exposure and having optionality. And I do think that speaks to Gov's point. Maybe it's not enough to get gambling legalized yet, but having a mainstream Disney platform, and you can like that or hate that, promote gambling, I do think is a good step to legalization, is a taking the stigma off of it. And I'm not saying gambling addiction is not real. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some, some like safeguards, some like hotlines. I work in the crisis industry in a lot of ways. Like, I have sympathy for these things. However, I do believe in, adult agency and being able to make choices. And like, you can turn any hobby or any interest or any even necessity into an addiction and the wrong influences. So I've never bought into this idea that gambling is bad because it involves money, because food involves money.
It honestly, couldn't we make the argument that all these pro gamblers are addicts?
Yeah, somewhat.
That's what I'm saying.
In the same way, you could make an argument that anyone who does something like it puts a shit ton of focus into something is really addicted.
I consider Tom Brady an addict when it comes to football.
Yeah, he may exactly. Like, if you think Tom Brady was an addict to football, then yes, then that's how you would describe it.
So, and I'm not trying to downplay it is still serious. It could have genuinely gotten Tom Brady in a lot of trouble, and it might have, mentally. He had lost his family essentially. He chose,
right?
Yeah. So I'm not going to try and downplay that. But I feel like to be great at something, you have to in some way be addicted to it,
And Donnie, I think that's the point, though, is like the addiction has this negative connotation. But if I use the word obsessive, if I said he has a healthy obsession to exercise, everyone's like, well, exercise is a healthy activity. So
there was nothing healthy about Tom Brady's commitment to football.
Well, exactly. So it depends on how we want to skew these narratives, when I think what you're getting at is a perfect illustration. It's really about how you utilize it. If me and Gov spend outside of our means on a daily fantasy lineup, then we're doing it bad. Then we're using DraftKings platform inappropriately. And actually, they have safeguards. There is a self-exclusion level on DraftKings right now. And if I hit that button, there's no going back, Donnie. I could lock myself up for 30 days, for 5 years, or for I don't know, a month. And once
honestly, from what I've heard, it's 30 days. And then if you ever hit it again, they just disable your account. You'll be able to get your money out, and that's about it.
Government, that button should exist, right?
I would 100% agree with that.
Yes.
That's what we're saying here. We're saying the optionality should be there for you to make that adult decision. Like, Tom Brady should be able to choose between football and being married, right? But he can't then say, well, football is to blame for me not being. No, he's allowed to make that choice, and there's consequences on both sides. It's not good or bad. It's you have the capacity to handle it. Some people can handle going to the bar and having hot wings and hamburger and never touching alcohol. Other people cannot go to even a restaurant, even if alcohol isn't the main focus. That's just part of life.
Well,
So,
while we're on the topic, though, would you guys, either of you, consider yourself addicted to gambling? Just 'cause you do it daily, almost.
Yeah.
You've gotten into different sports because of it.
Which I think would be a good thing. I'm not just like addicted. I'm not addicted to
you're
one.
Addicted,
I'm not
you're
focused
not,
on one sport.
You're
Right.
in a sense addicted, but you're not like doing it and causing harm to yourself over it.
Right. I'm not causing harm to anyone doing it.
Right.
Which is the argument someone has when they're trying to argue their addiction. It's like, if it doesn't hurt anyone, why? It's like, well, is it hurting you? Is it hurt? Who is it? Is it actually not hurting? But like, truthfully, like I have money in DraftKings. I don't put money in DraftKings really. So it's like, this is my hobby.
yeah.
I do it responsibly. I do it smartly. But like, I'm also not on the level where like I'm waking up early in the morning, looking at lines, trying to get bets in early before lines move. Then when lines move, placing other bets and just trying to eke out whatever. Like, I might place try to get like $5,000, $10,000 worth of bets down across a bunch of different sites and make $500 that day. It's like, but I'm doing that, and essentially then I can basically say, well, I'm doing that and making $500 a day.
My point is,
that's a little far.
My point is, though, I don't think I've ever seen Logan bet more than $10 on anything. And I would still consider him in some way addicted to sports gambling.
True. I can see why you would say that.
I play video games every day. If I went 3 weeks without playing video games, I'd be like, I would be a little out of whack.
Yeah,
I'm addicted
I'd
to
probably
playing
be
video
annoyed.
games.
I probably am too.
So, I just think the word itself has so much negative to it when not every addiction, in a sense, is severe and bad. And I hate saying it like that because it's gonna be twisted.
Like it's the same reasoning. Like, everyone sort of needs therapy because there's something everyone needs to talk about. It might not be a huge problem. Maybe it's not hurting anyone, but it might be something like you need to have the conversation. Hey, why do you do this every day? What's the reasoning behind this? Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about what it does to your life? Does it actually have a negative effect on you? Does it have a negative effect on anyone? Maybe it's completely positive and you should be trying to have more people do this.
Well, let's be honest. There are people that never will understand gambling and they'll say you're addicted, right? Or like, there's people that don't like the word addiction and the fact that you called us addicted, Donnie. They'd be like, no, I'm obsessed, because addiction is a negative, and if I'm obsessed, that's a positive. I've honestly heard that argument, whether it's
the disrespect. Sorry, no, nothing about you. I just pulled up the marketplace on my thing because I wanted to look at what cards have been placed.
Yeah.
And I sorted by superstar. So the Rainmaker Superstar, that's the guy you can only play one of in a lineup. You can never play multiple of these guys. And it's like, just to tell you this year, the superstars there were 5 quarterbacks.
So Kelsey's not a superstar for you, right?
No, you could play him with any other player in any combination. But Mahomes is a superstar. So I can't play Mahomes with any of the other skill player superstars. So like,
but if Mahomes got hurt, it would thrust Travis Kelce, I'm assuming, or no?
Well, it depends on when he got hurt, because like they changed the superstars halfway through the season to adjust for what people are doing through the season. But just to let you know, for the start of this year, and there's already some like, why is this guy a superstar? Why isn't this guy a superstar kind of stuff? You have Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, and Josh Allen as your 5 superstar quarterbacks.
Before we go into this,
they got the wrong
correlated. How correlated is this to the pricing in DraftKings Week 1?
I honestly haven't even looked.
I think that's an interesting thing. Yeah,
like that's something we could see because so those are the 5 quarterbacks. Then you also have Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, and Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp for wide receivers. You have Eckler. Yep. You have Eckler, Barkley, Chubb, Henry, Taylor, McCaffrey for your running backs. And those are the superstars.
Mm-hmm.
So those 5 quarterbacks plus 6 wide receivers, 6 running backs. I would have switched Justin Herbert. I don't think he deserved it. I would have had Justin Fields as a superstar. That's why I said wrong, Justin. Also, because they have the rule that if your quarterback is a superstar, then the wide receiver can't be, and vice versa. So because of that, Jamar Chase is a superstar. Joe Burrow is not. Patrick Mahomes is a superstar. So Kelsey won't be.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have that for running back and wide receiver. So like Justin Herbert and Eckler both get to be super. You can never play Justin Herbert and Austin Eckler together.
Which is so detrimental.
Exactly.
But it's fair because, and we talked about this a lot, especially last year when people were complaining about pricing of, this guy, you shouldn't have quarterbacks priced at $9,000 because if everyone has the same player pool and the same opportunity, then it's fair. And like you could say you should be able to play 2 elites in a lineup, but it's like if everyone can only play 1, then it's like the optionality is part of the game. Like you have to play within the rules of the site you're playing in, otherwise find a different site.
Yeah. But I was looking at it and it's like, so what do you think is the price difference between a core superstar Jamar Chase and a core superstar Justin Jefferson? The 1-2 in best ball drafts.
This is back to what we were talking about before, because I feel like it's actually a very interesting correlation. We were just having a complete conversation about addiction, whatnot, sports gambling. And then the 3 of us, with one snap of something related to anything, completely got segued, forgot what we were talking about because of sports gambling. That's my point, though.
No, it can't. Well, that's more to the nature of like we are sort of living a very low attention span world right now.
Yeah.
So like it allows addiction to happen. You have to be aware that like if you're just doing a bunch of little stuff, if everything is a 30-second TikTok and everything you're consuming it happens in a minute at every point in time, and then it's always different every other minute, that's not you're not going to be able to function everywhere in the world that way. It's not a smart thing to be great. Like it's not a smart thing to be great at doing that or to be comfortable doing it. You're not going to be.
My point was, go ahead, Logan. You go ahead.
Let me make the point and kind of give it back to you is, wouldn't you say there's a difference between speed and efficiency? But maybe technology and like these 30-second clips, or maybe technology being able to have a blender over a knife to chop makes your time more valuable because you can be more efficient. And so like sometimes, to Gov's point, that attention span of being able to do multiple things at once and like having all these options is a negative, but other times that pace is what helps you be more efficient.
Listen, I'm not trying to, downplay or anything. I'm just like trying to bring attention to it because I know we've talked about it a lot before, and we're getting it back into the season of we're going to be doing DFS consistently, and we always ended every show pretty much with bet safe and all that. So I feel like it's a healthy conversation to have before the start of the season.
And that's all I'm saying is it's a coin flip because on one side, efficiency is there. On the other side, your attention span, and we're trying to do too much and we're not enjoying the moment. I wanted to mention one thing quickly when you talked about different addictions and like how we put our money in versus hobbies. And Gov brought up a good point. And I want to mention Gov's money, let's just say he sets aside $10 for each week of the NFL season. That is going to impact potentially things that he cannot control years from now, especially if you multiply that number to 10,000 or 20,000.
Yeah, and think about that. That's if you just said $10 every week
Mm-hmm.
on NFL specifically, just NFL alone, that is $240. I want to say,
But let me make this point though, Donnie, is
not counting preseason.
maybe it's better to spend it that way than it is to spend $5 at a bar or $5 at a restaurant, because when you involve that, then you have involved in travel. You can get in a car accident more easier. There are different factors, different influences, different circumstances. You are exposing yourself to risk. So there are different exposure levels. But let me give you a positive example of this hobby, right? LeBron James' hobby of basketball made him money. That money is going to turn into generational wealth.
It already has for him because he's smart.
But I'm saying at some point, he's going to die. He's never going to know his great grandkids somewhere down the line. They might have no interest in basketball, but their success is going to be based on LeBron James, right? They will be put in a position because of his bankroll management, because of his interest, that they wouldn't have been otherwise. And like LeBron James doesn't know who they are, he'll be long gone by then. So like, I think that speaks to bankroll management and just being smart. It's like, if you're doing something at a level that's entertaining, that provides value, of course there's going to be risk that you might get addicted, that you might take it too far, but we have to take on these challenges. Otherwise, you don't ever reap the benefits of anything positive.
Right. No, I agree. I participate with you guys every week almost doing this.
Right.
I don't see a problem with it. I have no problem with it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, it's something to think about. For sure.
Well,
I was going to say, let's have a little fun with what you were saying earlier. So, like, what are the prices of the 6 wide receivers that are a superstar?
Yeah, look at the week 1.
So,
stuff.
like, just go week 1, clear it out.
Yep,
whatever.
I was going to clear it out.
Go to wide receiver.
Okay.
So the 6, we'll put in the 4 that we can in the 3 right now. So
obviously excluding
So what's Jefferson, Hill, and Jamar?
So Jefferson's 8,800.
Right.
Got him up on the screen for visual. We got Cooper Kupp coming in at
8,000. He's also a superstar. Okay.
So you got Cooper Kupp. Yep.
So really, the superstars are the top 5 guys. So it's like give Jefferson, so go over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those guys are superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Plus CeeDee Lamb.
Yep.
Didn't you say Waddle too?
No, not
Hill.
Waddle.
You said Hill.
Yeah, it was Hill. Yeah. So it's all of those guys plus CD. And CD's not on the slate. I think he plays Monday night.
Yeah, so he probably is close to it.
So that means on a normal slate they're going to have CD as like a high 7K guy? Really? That might be a little overpriced for him if he shows up that way on a Sunday slate.
Gov, you're so good at these.
Like, well, let's see. Like in Rainmakers, he is $13, which is, I will let you know,
over half a pack.
Yeah, I will let you know that is the fourth highest priced of the. Let's see. So there's 5, 6, 11. There's 16 or 17 superstars. Of them, he's 4th from the bottom. There are 3 other people that are listed cheaper than CeeDee Lamb's. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to guess who those are?
Okay.
So it's it's those 5 receivers plus CeeDee. Now go to the running backs. Let's see if the running backs. Look, so Logan, switch over real quick.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a question. You're so good at
McCaffrey, Eckler, Chubb. Those are 3. Taylor, Henry, and then the other one is Barkley, and I'm not sure if Barkley is on the slate.
We knew Bijan wasn't going to be a superstar, obviously.
No, I think Bijan is way too fucking high right now. Like, why is he 8K?
It's disgusting, but we don't need.
Did you see
third on the depth chart?
Yeah, I was about to say, did you see that Cordero Patterson is the starter, Algiers is backup, and Bijan's the third guy. If it starts the season that way, I'm going to be so fucking happy.
That would be so funny. Oh, we will be starting a Falcons running back if that's the case.
Oh yeah, because Tyler Algier is going to be cheap as fuck.
Yeah,
as is Cordero Patterson, the number one.
If that legitimately seems like the case.
Oh yeah.
I want to mention really quickly while Gov does some math on the running backs. Bryce Young is already taken over the number one job. And I know you guys probably laugh and think like, oh, we all knew he was going to be the starter, right? Because at first they mentioned Andy Dalton as a starter. The reason I think that's so valuable, they already came out before the first preseason game, even though we knew it was going to happen. It might be a formality. He's really impressing in camp, and like they didn't just say it, they showed video of it. So I do think, even though we knew it was going to happen, him being ahead of schedule and forcing the coach to already announce what we knew was going to happen as a formality, I do think speaks to how impressive he's been.
And we know,
right?
We know Frank Reich. No. My point is, we know Frank Reich is going to go with who he thinks is going to win him games. We've seen it.
He needs a win, right?
Yeah, but that's what we saw in Indy, and I don't know how much decisions he had in Philly, but he was going with the guy that he felt was going to be the right one.
Yeah. So, Gov, did I buffer enough for you to get the running back set up?
Well, I mean, yeah, I was just looking through them, so it's like, so superstar at running back, McCaffrey, Eckler, Chubb, and then Taylor, Henry, and then the sixth guy is Barkley, who's not on the slate. So,
which he would be up there.
Yeah, he would be right up there in price, So, like, the only one that's like not a superstar that's like odd is Bijan. Like, I don't think he's honestly
Taylor's there, but we don't know what's happening with him.
Taylor is the cheapest superstar, sub $10.
We don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I get in on that.
I honestly sort of agree. Like, that's the one, like, I could buy that for $950, $980 or whatever.
And I'm fine signs
with a team. Yeah, and then when he signs with a team, he's now going to be the same. That's the thing, though. You look at the other running backs at Superstar. You got
buy low, sell high, baby.
Let's see. So the other running backs at Superstar were, let's see. So you had Chubb, $14. Then you had Eckler at $16.85. You had Barkley at $14. Jonathan Taylor again, $9.50. Henry is $18.99.
Oh yeah, I'm buying low and selling high.
McCaffrey is $18.50.
I'm getting in on that Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, you buy him for $9. At worst, you should be able to list him for $14 as soon as he solidifies himself on a team. Whether through trade or whether through playing for Indy. I also think like the other two people that were cheaper than CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams and Cooper Kupp, both less than $13.
I think Cooper Kupp is partially health.
Yeah. When you compare that to Chase, Jefferson, Hill, all going for 20 or more.
See, my thing is, we know Hill doesn't have a guaranteed good quarterback with him, and he's so much higher than Adams. Yeah. I feel like Adams' price is going to go up as well. That's another where you'd consider buy low, sell high. But
and then all the quarterbacks: $19.95 for Lamar, $16.95 for Herbert, $25 for
Herbert,
Allen, $32 for Mahomes, $30 for Jalen Hurts.
Go over to quarterback, Logan, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Jackson, Hurts, Fields, and Burrow. I would have not been like I would have had.
Well, they can't put Burrow.
Problem, like I said, Burrow's the weird one because if you do Burrow, then now you have to make Jamar Chase a guy that everyone can just.
I don't think you can do that. I think you have to make Chase a superstar personally.
Because like if you do that, then most people are going to play Burrow Chase, but there will still be people who's like, well, maybe I want to do a Burrow Higgins in the right week and play, like, let's say when Cincinnati plays Minnesota, maybe I want to do Justin Jefferson on the other side of Burrow Higgins, just to get a little different.
Right.
Like that maybe you do that. Or something like that.
So who's the other quarterback that we're missing?
So like 1, 2, 3. So Josh Allen's not on the slate here.
Okay.
Neither is Mahomes. It looks
okay,
like.
So that's why it seems but we know Mahomes and Allen would be 1 and 2 probably.
But then you have Lamar Hurts, and Herbert. Wait, who are we missing then?
We're missing Allen.
There's only 5. There's only 5. It's Allen and Mahomes. There's 3 there. I'm thinking there's 6, like the wide receivers and the running backs.
Okay, I purposely stayed quiet, and it's because you were just cooking there. So I want to stay quiet, but now that we cooked this perfect meal, I do want to ask one question and throw this totally off guard, but then bring it back in an interesting way. Donnie, now we don't know if 2 people are going to watch this or like 12 people, right? And like our viewership numbers have went up. But one of the main reasons I said like this podcast was going to make money over time in ways that we didn't even see initially was because we're making the 3 of us smarter and like building good lineups, and we don't need the revenue or the attention right away, because if we're helping each other build really smart lineups, the lineups might eventually cash and make all these podcasts worth it. So I guess my question is, like, hearing all that information, what do you take away from it, and how would you apply that to a lineup if you were just to hear that information, not like follow the podcast, not say like, oh, Gov has to teach me something, but now that he has, how would you apply that now? Like, what are you taking from this conversation in real time?
Maybe it's useless information. It could be. I just thought it was an interesting thing to look at, and how how much they correlated their DFS stuff to the Rainmaker stuff. Which I think they did well.
Yeah. No, but to your point, it's a mental exercise. Like, we're challenging ourselves to look at things differently. Like, maybe.
So now the point of that exercise, honestly, was to see how much can I correlate the knowledge I built last year on DFS to Rainmakers. That's honestly what the point was. And
you already could see why we would make a superstar guy. And like, it's hard for me even. Like, that's the aspect I'm trying to grasp is basically what you're saying, but focusing that on, like, the marketplace. So how can I know what I know in DFS to attack the marketplace for inequities week to week?
Exactly.
Like, I know this guy has a good projection.
That is the point of this whole exercise.
And he's undervalued, yes.
100%.
The Jonathan Taylor thing, we see how high his price in DFS.
We know he's not a high price. We know, like, in the right situation, he'll have a projection right around there. He shouldn't be so much cheaper than the other guys.
Exactly.
But that's the other thing. Then you got to think about it as Rainmakers. Is Jonathan Taylor worth not playing any of those other guys? So you can't play Jonathan Taylor as your one-off running back in a Mahomes stack, in a Josh Allen stack, in a Jalen Hurts.
But if your point is to buy him low, hold him, and then sell him for a profit individually.
Like, it does look like there is value there, yes.
Donnie, what is the point? Like, for you, like, that's the
if you believe in Jonathan Taylor, at least. Sorry.
But that's the cool thing for me is the 3 of us, I am going to dedicate, I promise, we will do things off stream, sometimes potentially, and then recap it. But I promise, when we do this, like the Rainmakers portfolio that we build for this podcast, will be with the 3 of us influencing every decision. Like, so whether we decide at midnight and have to recap it a couple days later, we'll recap it. But like, I'm going to involve all 3 of us, and we will have a say. So like, that's an interesting kind of dynamic to this. Is like, me and you and Gov can all have different opinions, and like, how do we marry those things together? So like, having this conversation, does it open your eyes to a different value structure that you weren't thinking of with Rainmakers before? Does it like change anything for you? Because I just been over here writing notes. Honestly, I'm trying to pick you guys' brain how this is gonna work, and I'm just getting more and more excited.
I mean, we all know why I can't have it. Well, I guess technically the chat doesn't. I can't have a DraftKings account right now.
Right.
So I'm kind of just playing through you, just inserting my ideas.
Yeah.
And that's how I've had fun. And maybe that's my safeguard. I don't know if I need a safeguard, but maybe I do, and maybe this is my safeguard.
Well, we brought on Evan, and that's a good way to promote that. If you guys haven't liked and subscribed to that podcast from just a couple of days ago, we brought him on. He's never played DraftKings in his life. He was nervous. He was scared. He's like, I don't know if it's going to make sense for me. I don't know if I can correlate it back to anything I know about football. And you guys are so DraftKings centric, and it's like we just use DraftKings as a lineup builder, as a construction piece to talk about football, to talk about different ideas. In the marketplace, that's all we're really doing. He's a big dynasty guy. I'm like, dude, your dynasty takes are going to translate so well to best ball. They're going to translate so well to long-term and short-term goals that these players have, that we have in terms of lineups. Because Rainmakers, we're going to own that player for the duration of the season. You know, we might want to play Odell Beckham week 1 and not play him the rest of the season because his price would make sense in our week 1 lineup, but it might never make sense the rest of the season. Who knows? You know, like week to week is so much different than investing a season long. And I think like we did the season long thing with you last year, Donnie. And so now that we get to kind of have a full season experience, it's going to be so fun to kind of see the difference.
Yeah. Personally, I think we've had a lot of healthy conversations tonight. I don't think there's much of a point of stretching out too far. I don't know how you guys feel.
I agree with that. I would just say, is there anything that you want to preview for next week, or like give people a tease? Is there anything we forgot? Any quick hitters that we want to hit on?
Well, we did come in here with the idea of making a lineup for these upcoming preseason games.
We did. I have a lineup for Thursday's games. I don't know how prepared you are.
We could all. I don't know how busy you guys are. We have plenty of time before Sunday's games.
Thursday.
I'll say Thursday. I have my last pool league before I take a session.
I heard we were all free Friday, basically.
Friday again. I was planning on streaming tonight. I definitely was going to stream on Friday. So if we do it, it'll have to be late. But I could go Friday.
I don't get home till late.
Friday works for me late because I don't get off until 9, so I can fire up and we can. We'll throw a couple back. We'll change up the time zones a bit and give people a different version of our personalities. So I don't mind going late. We haven't went late since I think the Super Bowl, so it might be a good change of pace.
So it sounds like Friday we're guaranteeing a show.
Hey,
our first lineup builder in how long?
Who do you think we are? DraftKings? I don't know if I want to put that big G guarantee on my price here, Donnie. This is a small podcast now. We might have some rig. We might have some overlay. We don't want to.
That's all right. That's fair. That's fair.
But no, that I know honestly that is the goal, is to try to provide fun, innovative content. But you got to work with our schedule sometimes. But the goal is to bring out another show. Gov, I committed to doing a best ball at the beginning and the end of best ball. Is there anything else that you want to do in terms of, should we try to squeeze in a third one? Is there a different game that you want to try to play? Because right now DraftKings actually has week 1 snake drafts out for just week 1. We could do one of those already. Like, there are different ways to play DraftKings, or do you think we should just focus in on what we know and have more of these conversations where we gamify things? And like
I would definitely just focus on what we know. Like I wasn't going to try to do snake drafting. Like Underdog sort of introduced that last year, where they had like little mini drafts for the week.
Well, because in full transparency, that's what a lot of people do with these shows. Is they're like, well, DraftKings is doing this new game. This might get me attention. So let's try this. But I think we've tried enough like new things, whether it be our season prediction. Again, go back a few weeks and like and subscribe to that video. We went through week by week and broke it down to our projections. So we've done some new things. I would like the next couple episodes, we can do a lineup build, but also just get into the theory of like how to build a lineup week one. Because let's be honest, Gov, and this will be my last point, and then you guys can wrap up where you want. But week one is so much different than week 2 to week 3, and then you start putting in bye weeks. I think we could have really good conversations going forward about how to build a lineup in week one opposed to any other week. And I think that's where we should start to gear.
We have a bye week in between the preseason and the regular season. We know that.
We do.
That's a perfect time for a best ball, in my opinion. But
that would be that is the target day.
That's probably I would like any day that week I can make time. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, early in the week.
Not much sports. Yep. Women's Team USA soccer team eliminated. We'll talk about that another time. This weekend we have FIBA. Luka going up against Team USA. That should be a lot of big things happening in sports nationally that we haven't touched on at all. That's the only thing we've really missed out on. But it's NFL season for us, baby.
Well, let me just quickly show my diversity. Kate Cunningham coming back from injury looks really good for Team USA. Looks like a leader. I'm very encouraged by that. You know, we saw Austin Reeves. He continues to impress.
Luka had a triple-double in 24 minutes. A 27-point triple-double in 24 minutes last night.
Truly, basketball is like one of the more international sports, and people realize it with the MVPs and how they've been more international recently, but like it truly is probably the most liked sport internationally. So
hasn't it been 2017 was the last American-born player to win MVP?
Yeah, I believe that's.
I believe so.
Okay, Danny.
Giannis, but yeah, we're getting off track.
Hey man, you're on track. You're giving out people good advice. So don't give away too much now. Let's save some of it for the next couple of weeks. Go. Any last thoughts for the people? We started with you, let's end with you, man.
Honestly, I am trying to prepare myself for this month because I will be doing I'll be streaming some best ball drafts before I start my gaming. So if you want to follow me, Governor, on Twitch, I'll be doing that most nights of the week before I start whichever game I'm playing.
Maybe the link should be in the description.
Yeah, maybe if Logan wants to do that, he can link that. But
for 100%, I will. You're such a humble man. Me and Donnie are both into gaming. Gaming translates so well with sports. It's in the culture. Anytime you want either one of us on, I'm sure we would hop on and we would support it. I watch you quite often. Your link content has been great with Zelda because I haven't got into Zelda, but I used to play Nintendo a lot as a kid. You know, I'm old enough to remember the original Nintendo. So like that's how I lived through Zelda. I lived through your streams, to be honest, because I don't have a Switch. So that was fun for me to watch.
Well, thank you, Logan. I try to do it. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm playing these games anyway. I bought myself a Switch. I was like, if I wasn't streaming it, then I would still be playing it. So I've just decided to start streaming it and see who wants to come by and talk with me and fuck around. Just like I did as a kid. Like I always had to share as a kid. I remember having to how many one-player games did me and my brother play together as a kid?
That's what me and my brother did all the time. But instead of Zelda, we played Sly Cooper.
I'm old. I'm playing Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. When you die, I play. When I die, he plays. Yep. I'm playing Super Mario World in 2-player. So he's Mario, I'm Luigi. Whoever's on the screen, you get to run the game. If you never die, then you never die.
Oh, and that definitely adds
good.
It definitely adds incentive to do better too, because you don't want to hand over that controller. We used to do that a ton as well. I totally relate to that story, and I miss some of that because I have a PlayStation. I with my disability, I was never able to play basketball, so being able to play virtually in a V5 setting is like allow me to connect online, and I will get a Switch at some point because as my nephew gets older, like the Switch may not be the best graphical game like PlayStation, Xbox, still like the place to play for multiplayer. But I'm gonna tell you what, Switch owns the market when it comes to party games, when it comes to Mario Kart or like these type of things. Like the Paint game looks fantastic. So as I
Gus
become
still owes
more,
me a Pokemon battle.
you know what happens like as we become
don't worry.
and that's exactly it. As this podcast matures, as we become a family, as I get into more of the family life, I probably will own a Switch here in a couple months, even maybe even sooner than that. You know,
It's so worth it.
Yeah. So
It's a good investment, yes.
yeah, I don't doubt that. So again, we'll like and subscribe Goat's content over on Twitch. You know, I really will. This isn't a faux pas offer. I'll come on. Trust me, we need to diversify the portfolio a bit. Like we can pop in some sports and culture to these podcasts and just have fun. That's the whole point of this podcast. Is just to have this environment where we can kick it for an hour and forget the daily rigors of our life sometimes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. We're going to get out of here now. Have a good one. Take care, guys. Be safe. See you in a couple days.
Have a good night, everyone.
Peace out.
Maybe Friday. No guarantees, Donnie. Maybe Friday.
We'll see.
Good luck.
Peace out, everyone.